So I have a very legitimate reason for wearing hats all the time. Okay? You wear hats all the time. And I need you to tell me why in the world, because you've got that thing sticking, you got some stuff sticking out from behind there that I'm just a little bit jealous of. So can we talk about that?
Am I turning red right now? Because I feel like I am.
Can't tell. The hat's a little too low.
Well, I was in trouble with a team. So now
we got to get some light.
Now my
down
posture's
here.
changing. Right. As I'm trying to
talk about that.
Yes. So, man, what's up, GP fam? It's your host RJ for Going Public. Tonight we have the one who has mastered content creation, Mr. Jason Talley, aka Jay Talley, in studio. Jason, thank you so much for coming on, man. This has been some time in the making. I wanted you to come on a while back ago, but timing is perfect. I think for sure. Now with us being in season 2, you are the perfect guest for what we're going to talk about tonight. But if you would, give the audience a little background of who you are, what you do, and let's get started.
Dude, man, well, first of all, thanks for having me on, dude.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. I was thinking about it on the drive over here, how you and I kind of sat around a table with some of your team and kind of dreamed about you doing something like this, and just to kind of see how it's come to fruition. And I've watched a lot of your episodes and seen the social content and all that kind of stuff. I'm just on the other side of this, really proud of what you're doing. So,
man, that means a lot. So I do want to tell the audience that, like, you were the one who we consulted with. You know, our team is like, oh, how do we do this? We have this vision, but how do we get application for this vision? Yeah. And you are the mastermind behind it, who I forever will give credit to. But all of this happens because you gave us insight of how to do it. Remember, still to this day, I have no idea how to turn these mics on. I don't know how to do any of that. Yeah. But I really do just give you honor and just as a trusted friend. Like you would give that insight no matter what the future look like as far as Going Public, their vision and just my vision and how we collab. But you were able to just say, you know what, no matter what happens, I'm going to be a voice of just wisdom for you. And so, so thanks, man. Tell the audience like how you got started, how long you've been doing it, and whatever you want to share right now.
Sure. So, 4 years ago, I quit my job and started doing this kind of stuff full time. Feels a little crazy to even say that because it feels like it was just yesterday, but also I feel like I've been doing it for a decade. Okay. It's just such a weird feeling. But so I started doing kind of creative stuff about 15 years ago when I first moved to Dallas. I'm originally from Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama. And when I moved to Dallas, I started working at this ministry in Plano. And I was originally just kind of on the phones, that kind of thing. And this was back in 2008. And so I was on the phones, answering calls, that kind of thing. They had a magazine and a radio program. And I actually cleaned the building at night. I was their janitorial service too. Every dollar. You have squeeze a dollar out of. Like, I can clean a toilet, boy. I tell you. So anyway, I was working for them. They decided they want to go on television, and the building they were in, office building they were in, had a big room that could be utilized as a studio. So they started building it out, and I go talk to my boss, who was a really good, like we'd had a really good relationship, she and I, and I walked in and I said, hey, I'd really love to be a video editor when we go on TV, and she said, have you ever done it? And as you and I have talked about, I was a youth pastor for a long time. Yeah. And I had one of those giant cameras, not one of the ones with like the VHS tape, but I had a giant camera that you literally had to hold on your shoulder that recorded to, it did record to a tape, but you could record it digitally, and then I could put it on a DVD. And I got this kid's baptism, like this 14-year-old kid from my youth group that got baptized, and I made it into a DVD. And when she asked me that, I was ready. Like, I knew she was going to ask for my portfolio. So I'm like, of course. And I threw that DVD down. I was like, portfolio. Boom. You're welcome. Yeah. And I didn't say boom, you're welcome. But a few days later, went back to her office. I was like, hey, so did you get a chance to think about it, whatever? And she said, yeah, the DVD's not that good. That was literally what she said. She said, but that's okay. She said, we're going to give you a chance. Mm-hmm. And this is actually... Her name is Kara McPeak. Shout out Kara. Love her to this day. She's like a second mom to me in some ways. But but I would not be where I am right this minute if it wasn't for her yes in this moment. Wow. Because here's what happened. She said back then there was this thing called lynda.com, Lynda. Okay. It's now been purchased by LinkedIn, and it's called LinkedIn Learning. But back then, lynda.com, you could literally, if you wanted to learn how to use PowerPoint or you wanted to learn how to, edit in After Effects and Premiere, you could, or learn 3D rendering, you could learn it on lynda.com. You could download, all these professionals would upload all these tutorials, you download all the project files, you work alongside them, and they're teaching you. And so she told me, she said, for the next 2 months, you're going to come in every single day to work, and all you're going to do is lynda.com. So for 60 days, I was paid to learn how to edit videos, which is unheard of and a blessing.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
And so then on top of that, I get put into a room with a guy named Marty, and Marty was a very seasoned, it's a really nice way of saying he was pretty old, but he was a very seasoned editor. I love him so much. Okay. I just have to say that because you never know. Like, he's going to see this. He'd be like, bro, I never knew you felt that way. I love you, Marty.
Marty, you've been old for a while. That's what you're saying. Okay.
Right. Yeah, this was 15 years ago. And, So I'm sitting in this room with Marty, and Marty was actually hired from Daystar. And so he worked at Daystar as an editor, and then they hired him. So he was a professional editor. I was obviously not. 60 days of learning. And so anytime I had a question, I'd be at my desk, he'd be at his, I'd be like, hey, Marty, and he'd wheel over, he'd show me what to do, wheel back, And so that was a huge, huge gift to me, just that environment of making these television programs. Marty ended up leaving a little while later. I did that for about 8 years, and Marty ended up leaving, and I became the lead editor for a while. And I still remember the first time I was sitting in, and these are I'm editing TV programs. This is not social media content. This is not YouTube content. It was going on YouTube, but they were actually being aired on TV. We had to write them to a tape, a physical tape, had to have bars and tone in the beginning and at the end, had to have all the credits, all the things, and we would mail this tape off to TBN and Daystar, and then they would play that tape on television. And so I still remember the day I was back home in Alabama for Christmas, and one of my family members is just flipping through the channels on the TV, and I was like, whoa, go back. And he flipped back, and there was a TV program I'm watching in Alabama on cable television that I made on my computer in Dallas. Wow. And I still remember when that happened, I was like, yo, that is nuts. Like, what a weird feeling. Like, I typed those, like the scripture that come up, like I typed that. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not watching this over the internet. It's literally on television. And so, so anyway, that's kind of how I got my start in kind of creativeness when it comes to that. I did do a lot of art and things like that in high school, so I've always kind of had an itch for it. But my love for teenagers and student ministry kind of took charge at that period in my life, and I started doing. I was a youth pastor alongside this job in a volunteer capacity, and then a high school pastor. So then I discovered this ministry called Young Life.
Yeah,
I started doing Young Life as a volunteer. And then I came on part-time staff with them, and then I actually ended up leaving that job as an editor to work for Young Life full-time as an area director over 7 high schools and 15 middle schools, doing ministry in all these different schools. Not me personally, but we had built a team of like 35 volunteers that were all over the city. It was Garland, Rowlett, and Saxe, just over here on the east side. Okay. And so did all that. And so during that time, my creativity kind of took a different seat, you know? I was doing skits and plays and
Minute to Win
all
a Game.
sorts of all sorts of fun, just creative ways to get kids to not only like have a great time but to hear the gospel. And so did that for a good period of time. And then when I left there, it was actually to just stepping back from Young Life, going up to Michigan to help my friend start a church. And I did that for 3 years. It was a good experience. I learned very quickly, being from Alabama and Texas, that the North is just not my vibe. And only because I shoveled snow for the first time in my life, and I was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, I don't have to do this in Texas. And so I'm not bougie, y'all. I just, it's standards. I'm just kidding.
But you're not.
Just kidding. I'm really not. I'm not bougie. I'm telling you what, like, okay, I'm just going to tell this quick story. It's a quick aside. It's a quick aside. But honest to God, like I had been like, maybe I should move back to Dallas. And I was there for 3 years. The first 2.5 years, I was in apartments and the apartment takes care of snow management in those situations, which means they're going to plow the parking lot. They're going to take care of the sidewalks, put salt down, all that stuff. Well, in the last period of time I was living there, I was renting a house from one of my friends, and the night before our first big snow, he goes, "Hey, bro, you got a snow shovel?" I was like, "No," and he was like, "Bro, you need to go get one. It's coming down tonight." And I'm like, dude, yes. Like, how exciting. Like, I love new life experiences. I think it's so fun. I think things that feel like a challenge or things that feel maybe difficult, I try to find a way to like make them fun and make them a game, and then you can enjoy it, right? So I'm like, oh yes, I get to shovel snow. This is gonna be so fun. So I went to Myers, which is their version of Walmart and stuff, and bought me a snow shovel. I got up actually earlier than I needed to because I was so excited. I go outside. It has come down. Like, it's up, almost to my knee probably. And so I'm like, okay, I've still got to go to work because they've put salt on the roads and stuff, so the roads are fine.
Yeah. So
I shovel from my driveway to the car, a little sidewalk path, and then I get behind the car and I'm like, okay, here we go. So I'm like going in, and I have this giant jacket on, and about halfway through, I know it's hard to believe, but I'm not athletic. Okay.
That is hard to believe.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Confirmation. And so I'm like shoveling snow. I'm pouring sweat under this jacket. So I get it all done. I'm like, I got up so early. I had extra time. So I was like, let me go take a shower before I go to work. So I go and take a shower. I change clothes. I come outside and I stand on the porch and I notice that while I was inside taking my shower, the street plow had come down and blew all the snow into my driveway from the street that I just cleared out. And I literally stood on my driveway, and I swear, I promise it's exactly what happened. I stood on my driveway, and I went, y'all don't got to do this in Texas. I don't want to do this no more. Yeah. And so, I immediately started looking for jobs. And so, so that's when I moved back down here. This was in 2021.
Okay.
I moved back down here, and I was working as an outdoor patio furniture salesman and living on the other side of the Metroplex from where I originally was in Euless over by the airport, and needed a different church situation, wanted a different church situation. Okay. And so I had heard about Pastor Robert in Social Dallas and went and visited there. I drove back in on Saturday, went there on a Sunday, and cried the whole time. And it was outside, though. It was the first outdoor service that they had at Strauss Square. And so we all had little white fans, and it was blazing hot, but I was like, tears were running down my face. And they were like, next Sunday, the church had just started. I didn't know this at the time, but the church had just started. They had like maybe 1,000 people. And which is funny to say if you know anything about social, but it's like now we're like 3,500, 4,000, and we're 4 years old. But they're like, hey, next Sunday we're at a brand new venue. It's called Gillies. And I'm like, oh, let me go see if I cry in the AC. So I went the next Sunday. And sure enough, turns out I cried in the AC. Yeah. And so I'm like, all right, well, I think this is it. This is where I'm going to be. Locked in there, and they had their first or second ever social DNA, which is kind of like the newcomers class,
Yeah.
And this is when Pastor Robert, Pastor Taylor would teach it in person, like up front.
They were doing it?
Yeah, up in front of Gillies after service. We would all go up in front, and they would sit there and talk to us about the church and the culture and the values. And Pastor Taylor said, we need graphic designers. So if you're a graphic designer, like, let us know. And all the experience I had with the TV program stuff, I had made a lot of graphics for the TV program. So I'm like, oh yeah, I can do graphic design. So I said, yeah, let me do that. So I told them, boom, I'm interested. Well, the thing about social is, we're learning to fly the plane while we're building it. Mm-hmm. So like we'll get 30,000 feet in the air and realize we need a wing, and we're like, oh crap, and so everybody's freaking out. We're trying to build a wing, and And so this is very much one of those situations where it was like, we need graphic designers. 7 people signed up. They put all 7 of us in a group chat, and they were like, we want this graphic. All 7 of us would make it. Only 1 would get picked. 6 would not. Mine was always in the not category. And I'm like, I love y'all. Just don't want to waste my time.
Oh, my confidence would have been shot.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just the worst. And so I went up to Frank, our creative director.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, Frank, listen, like, I just don't think it's not my gift. Obviously graphic design, like there's people that are way better at this type of thing. I said, but what I do pretty good at is video editing. And he was like, oh man, you're a video editor. I was like, yeah. And so he hooks me up with Esther, who was our only other editor at the time. She was doing everything. And they asked me to make some social media content, which I had never done. They sent me a sermon. They was like, hey, make a recap from this, like pull a section out of it, put text with it, music, all the things. And so I did, and I spent a lot of time on it because I really wanted it to be good.
Yeah.
And sent it to them. They sent back a bunch of fire emojis, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess we figured this out, you know?
Yeah.
And so then they ended up asking me to do 3 or 4 videos a week. And so I started doing that for them then, and did that for a long period of time for them, like a year and a half. So I did all that social content. Took a break from that just for financial reasons. They, budgetary stuff. I was on contract with them.
Okay.
And so took a break from that for a period of time. Kind of served where I could. Really attended and did more than that. But one part that I've kind of left out here, or I guess we're about at this point in time, is I was at my job doing the furniture salesman stuff for about a year. And I'm making these videos for Social Dallas. And one of the videos, a lot of the videos that I made, and it had nothing to do with me. I will never say it's always the content. Like Pastor Robert is just an unbelievable communicator. And so it doesn't matter how you slice it. You put it out there, like it's gonna get the views. Well, I still do this to this day. If I make content for somebody, I'll always go see what the engagement looks like. Like I want to see what are people saying about it. Did they like this? Did they like that? What did they not like maybe?
Yeah.
It just kind of helps me to be able to gauge whether I'm moving in the right direction or not. And so I went and was looking at this one video that I'd made for social, and this guy had commented on it, and he said something that got my attention. I can't remember what it was. I was like, who's this guy? And so I click on it. Turns out he was the guy that did what I was doing, for Mike Todd at Transformation Church. And I'm like, oh, well, I need to follow this guy. So I followed him. That's all it is. I liked the comment and I followed him. He sends me a DM and he goes, I have a sneaky suspicion you made this video. I'm like, I did. And he's like, yo, what's up? So his name was Ron, Ron Starling. And he is probably one of my best friends to this day.
Nice.
He's an amazing guy. He's no longer at Transformation. He just moved to Austin. He was in New York for a while. He kind of bounces all over, but he's now going to be the, I guess it's called the youth and young adults pastor or student pastor at Torrin Wells Church.
Oh, wow.
In Austin. Yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah.
He just got that gig and he starts in November, which I'm really excited about for him.
Dang, yeah.
But anyway, back then, he and I would go to Tulsa, hang out, kind of learn from him and, whatever. He came down here and we would hang out. And I'll never forget this one day. And I'm working at this furniture salesman job and I hated it. Hated it. Because, one, I had to wear a button down every day. It had to be tucked in. I looked like somebody's uncle. I just didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm at that. I can't tuck in anything.
I'm not doing it. And so I hated it. And it was very slow paced. Didn't have a lot of customers come in, that kind of thing. And so I'm just like, man, there's just something about, and I've said this so many times, this is gonna be what I'm saying now, but the 15-minute break and 30-minute lunch break is like the bane of my existence. Like sitting next to the humming refrigerator and the flickering light and saying like, man, this is the life. Like it's not. It's not it. It's just not it. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm a little bit spoiled in that because when I was working for Young Life as an area director, like we had big goals. I had to raise $180,000 a year. Okay, we had to take so many kids to camp. We had to have so many active ministries going, had to have so many volunteers. I had to have so much committee, which is like adults and things like that are supporting the ministry, like with vision and support. And so I had these goals, but that doesn't mean anything at Tuesday at 10 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like I can get up when I want, I can go to bed when I want. I can kind of like make my schedule as long as the job gets done.
Yeah.
And that was my full-time job. And when you have a job like that, and then you go back to, I got to be here exactly on time, and I got to take exactly this much time for lunch, and exactly this time I get to leave. I can't leave a minute earlier. What do you mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know I'm saying that, like, it sounds a little, I don't know what the word is, but it sounds like that's what like 80% of the world does, No,
absolutely.
Like, clocks in, clocks out, the commute and all the things. But when you've had a job that you don't have that, and you go back to that, all you can think about is getting back to that. And for me, it was about ministry, or about how can I, how can I get to that place of where I can have that freedom again. And then Ron, fast forward, at the furniture store, Ron texts me and he said, bro, your videos are really good. And he knew how much my contract was with social. It wasn't a ton, but it was enough to justify the work I was putting in. And also enough for them to make sure that I actually would do it every single week, not be like, oh, I don't feel good this week. I have no videos, And so he said, my tummy hurts. I don't know why that cut in my mind, but he said, I'm sorry. So I've done stand up one time. And so it's just like my like closet comedian. I'm a closet comedian. So like in my head, I have these jokes and I have to choose whether I want to say them or not. And there's so many right now. Okay. So he says to me, he's like, bro, your videos are really good. He's like, if you could find 5 other churches that would pay you what Social's paying you, you could do this full time. And when he said that, I was like, yo, hang on. This could be it.
Yeah.
This could be it. And so I immediately started like sliding DMs of churches so my criteria was I would look online, Instagram, while I was at work, because the job was so slow. So I'd be at work scrolling on Instagram. And I would look for churches that either didn't post videos at all or posted crappy videos. Or I'd do the same thing with people or businesses. I would look for businesses that either weren't posting social content that was video-based, or if they did, it was really bad quality. And so I'm like, how can I make it better, or how can I start it from scratch? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so so I started sliding all these churches' DMs. I even went as far as going to some of these churches' websites, downloading their sermons, and making a free video and sending it to them. Going, hey, here's a free sermon recap. If you like it, I would love to talk to you about making these for you regularly. And didn't get anything out of that.
Zero?
So, well, one church posted the video I made, but they never hit me back up. So, which is fine. That's the risk you take, But I'm like, whatever. But then there was this podcast that I'd been following forever, bro. It was called The Relevant Podcast.
Okay.
They used to have a magazine. Well, they still do. It's digital now, but they had a magazine back in the day. It was like the youth pastor's dream magazine. It was like the intersection of faith and culture is what their thing is. So they talk about music and media and all these things, local news or regular news or whatever news, and they talk about it in a way where it's like, how does this affect our faith, or how does this affect how we view the world as Christians and things like that. And their podcasts have been around for 17 years. They've been doing it for a long time. They were doing podcasting before podcasting was podcasting. And it was audio only. And I've been listening for a long time, probably 4 or 5 years. And I've been following them on social media. Well, they posted a crappy video. And I'm like, first of all, and I'll say this proudly to the camera, how can you be called relevant and you post a crappy video? Like, what do you mean? That's not relevant at all.
Exactly.
And so I slid in the DMs. I'm like, hey, and I had a little pitch. I had like this little canned pitch. And I told him the canned pitch. I was like, hey, my name's Jason Talley. Here's what I do. Da, da, da. Here's my portfolio. It was a lot more than a DVD of a kid getting baptized this time. But yeah, so give it to them. And 7 minutes later, Cameron Strang, the CEO, who is also the host of the podcast, sent me a message and goes, love your stuff. Do you edit audio? Which at the time I had never done. Mm-hmm. And I said, absolutely.
Yeah,
and
you have to say absolutely right.
Of course. Yeah, of course. Because in my head, I was thinking, he said, our audio engineer for our podcast put in his notice and we need to find a new engineer. In my head, I was going, well, I need to at least put in a 2-3 weeks notice for my job. Mm-hmm. It's 2022 at this time. So I'm like, I can figure this out. YouTube University, I'll figure this out. Yeah. I know how to edit videos. So
I'm YouTube certified over here.
Yeah, I can figure out how to edit audio. So they end up hiring me on contract. The podcast records all digital, all virtual. Cameron was in Orlando. We had somebody in Virginia, 2 people in Texas, and 1 person in Nashville. And they all were on the show. It was kind of like an early morning show vibe. Mm-hmm. Like they did little banter, and they had music breaks and all these different things. And I think you and I have talked about this show before. Mm-hmm. But it's just a really, really fun show. And so we recorded every Wednesday, recorded 2 episodes. Episode came out on Friday and on Tuesday. And so I would edit those audios, and that's what I did. I did that and the Social Dallas stuff, and that's how I got started. That's how I quit my job, because I had to. In order to take this contract, I had to quit my job. So jumped off the cliff, quit my job, started doing that full time. And I'll tell you a fun story. It's kind of full circle story. It's really fun. Yeah. Is when I was in Detroit, which was like 3 or 4 years earlier, prior to me quitting, I'm listening to the Relevant Podcast. I'm at a red light. And I told you they have these segments. Well, they also have little jingles for these segments. So like there's a segment called Slices, which is like news segment, like slices from news. So everybody brings their own little, I think
like current event type thing? Okay.
I think this happened yesterday. Isn't this crazy? And then everybody talks about it. But prior to that, Cameron will go, okay, it's time for, and then there's this little like Fruit Ninja sound. And then it says slices, like whatever. It had some music with it. When Cameron comes on, while I'm sitting at this red light in Detroit, years before I worked for them, and he said, hey, we're looking for a new jingle for our slices segment. Like, if you're good at that kind of stuff, submit a jingle. We might pick yours. And I remember sitting there at the red light going, dude, how cool would it be if they picked a jingle that I made? But then I was sitting there also going, well, I don't know how to do any of that.
Right.
And I kept driving to Chipotle or wherever I was going. I went on with my day. And fast forward like 3-4 years later, I'm working for them on contract, editing the entire show. And not only that, I made probably half a dozen or more jingles over the time that I was there. I edited over 100 episodes of that show for them. It was just really such a kind of full circle moment where like the Lord really, I genuinely believe the Lord knows like our hearts.
Yeah.
And he puts things in our hearts for a reason. And it might not be for now. It might not even be for later, but maybe, And what a special thing when you can see that. Because most of the time we don't get the pleasure to see it. We don't get the pleasure to see like that thing. But I was able to kind of see that in my own life and go, wow, it's really special that like this thing that I wanted so randomly, the Lord was gracious enough to give it to me later. And just through circumstance, I didn't try, I didn't go at that red light in Detroit, man, one day I'm going to work for them, or man, one day I'm going to, let me reach out to Cameron and see if he'll hire you. I've just walked every day, Wow. And this is one of the things too, I'm just going to say this, and this is no shame on anybody who does this. Okay.
Right.
But there's just such a big deal about like, how are we living our lives when it comes to trusting the Lord? Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because I have family members in the deep south of Alabama who are very adamant about praying before we go anywhere. And we're going to pray traveling mercies. We're going to do all that stuff. And we're going to really touch heaven, because if we don't, you might have a wreck. Do you know what I mean?
No, I'll get it.
And that stuff is genuine, right? But here's my thing is like, if we give our lives to Jesus and we really love him and we're really pursuing him and we're really like trying our best to walk in the direction he wants us to walk, then is he not already with us? Like, why do we have to invite him in?
No, I love that, because it's almost like your prayer is changing what he already has in place, right?
Yeah.
Or just trust him.
Right.
That you're going to see the goodness of who he is
exactly
displayed in your life today.
Yeah, it's like if we don't invite him in, he's not going to be there.
Right.
But he's there, so we don't have to invite him in no more. Mm-hmm. Like, he's just there. He's in this room now, and because we're here. And it's just a different paradigm of like how to trust the Lord when you're walking day to day. Because so many people think like we have to be like acknowledging his presence regularly. And I'm not against that at all. Listen, I will pray every day, any situation, like, you know what I mean? Like whatever. But I'm not saying that I won't or that we shouldn't. But what I am saying is that I didn't pray for the job at Relevant. I didn't pray that God would open the doors. I didn't pray that God would give me the opportunities. The Lord was with me at the red light. He knew what my heart wanted. He knew what I wanted. And as a heavenly Father and as a child, like, he looked at that and said, well, let me just give you that. Like, how cool is that? And so for me, it was really that kind of a moment where it was like, you whisper in Santa's ear, like, hey, I'd really like, a bicycle for Christmas. And little do you know that your dad's standing over there listening to you say that. Mm-hmm. And he's going to go buy it for you and put it under the tree, and you're going to get it, but it's just not going to be now. It's going to be later. And so I don't know. It's just a really interesting thought process. But anyway, so I did that for a while. Okay. And through that, I got several other podcasts, started editing those, producing those, shooting some things. I picked up a camera for the first time, which I hadn't done ever. And so started learning how to use a camera, video and pictures, and I did a lot of bad things. Like, I took bad pictures, bad videos. Like it just wasn't good. You know, the quality wasn't good. Like it's a
okay. Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah. No, listen.
I bought a camera and did really bad things.
Really bad things. I was like,
does not sound good.
Hitting people upside the head with it. And listen. I'm gonna say this, and you can choose whether to leave this in or not. I don't.
I'm gonna leave it in. Go ahead.
Okay. So I had somebody ask me if I wanted to do porn one time.
Mm-hmm.
Not do porn.
Not you.
No, with the camera. Like I'm the camera guy.
This is where my mind goes. Like I have the ugliest feet in the world.
Oh God.
I'm waiting for somebody to say, RJ, can you do like feet pics? I'd say yes.
My stomach
I'm gonna get canceled. I'm gonna get kicked out of the church, but I would say yes. Like
like, well, name the price. That's just
exactly.
what's
whatever.
You can't tell it's my feet. No, but genuinely, I was at a party. It was a mixed party. Like it was like there. I don't know how else to put that, but like I had never met this guy in my life. Didn't know what he did, and he walked up to me. He was like, "What do you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I do videography, photography." He's like, "Cool." Oh man, love that. He's like, we're looking for some people, and I'm like, "Oh, cool. Like, tell me, like, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, it's we do adult content," and I'm like, "Oh." He's like, "Well, listen, bro, the money." Like he starts going into all the details, and I'm like, "Oh." And I'm not even gonna hold you. Like for a solid second, I was sitting there going, okay, I could get it if it pays well. I could get a different laptop and like different drives and different SD cards and just keep all this stuff separate because I can't be over here making sermon recaps on the same. What am I doing? And so I'm like, oh God. And so he like gives me his contact info, and I'm like, I am not like I literally threw it. I don't have his number to this day. So
right.
I don't. But I'm like, bro, I could not imagine. And because, I literally thought, I took probably 30, 45 seconds and thought it through because I'm going, you never really see the guy behind the camera.
Right.
Like, no one would ever know. I would just pull up in a really nice car and people would go,
he must be good.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, wow. And so anyway, so that's where my mind went when I started doing bad things. But what I meant was my pictures were crappy. The
quality.
The quality was bad. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. And through so much trial and error, I would come to downtown Dallas and just take pictures, or I would just randomly say, hey, let me come shoot that for you. Let me video that for you. Let me figure that out. Because for me, it was a learning curve, and it still is to this day. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things where it's like, you just figure it out. I still remember there was a guy, and I love him dearly, who's full-time wedding photographer, has been a friend of mine for a long time. He was in my youth group, actually.
Okay.
And shout out George. I'm just going to call him out because I've already told him this story. But I could not figure out, like when you have a camera and manual, there's 3 things you need to adjust in order to take a really good picture, a really good video. And I just couldn't figure it out. I could not figure it out. I watched every YouTube video. I felt like I had a learning disability. I watched every YouTube video. I did everything I could possibly do. I could not figure it out. And I was like, well, this is probably just in for me. And so I was like, well, last ditch effort. I'm going to go talk to George because he's been doing this for a decade, and he knows. Mm-hmm. He can tell me. He can explain it. So I go sit down with him. I buy him lunch, and we're sitting there and we're talking. We're catching up. And I was like, listen, bro, I actually have an agenda here. Can you please help me figure this out? His exact response was, he goes, nah, bro. And I'm like, I just bought your lunch. Like, what do you mean?
You owe me now.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Give me information.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? And he said, bro, you'll just figure it out. He said, I don't know how to explain it to you. He's like, you'll just figure it out. And I left there so frustrated and so aggravated. But hand to the Lord Jesus, that's exactly what happened. I was doing a shoot one day, and I was like, made an adjustment on a setting, and I went, hang on. Made another adjustment, made this adjustment, and I looked at how it turned out in post, and I'm going, oh, yeah, okay, I think I understand. And then slowly but surely, it like became this thing of where like now I fully understand, and I could teach people that if I want to, and I'm hoping to do a class in the next couple of months maybe, but yeah. So now full circle. It's been a really long story. Sorry about that, but
You're good.
Full circle. Now I have probably a dozen clients or so, give or take. Some are retainer clients, a lot are not, and I'm trying to change that. I do real estate content, photography, videography, and that like I'm do recaps of events or concerts. I've worked with gospel artists, Kirk Franklin and Fred Hammond and some others, but done a lot of work in that way. Have done a lot of headshots and parties and pictures and things like that. I am back on contract with Social Dallas. So I do all the sermon recaps for them right now. I do 4 a week, which is really a special thing. I do a lot of the social stories that you'll see, which are kind of like the testimony videos that they play at church, which is really special to see people's stories and to hear them and to understand like where they're coming from and to hear the whole story. Because most of the time when we do social stories, we're recording for an hour and a half to make a 3-minute video. And so hearing the whole story.
Oh, I didn't know that was that breakdown.
And like somehow figuring out how am I going to make this into a 3-minute concise thing is probably one of the biggest challenges, but it's really fun. And so, but yeah, I mean, I've been blessed to be able to travel a lot, especially this year. It's actually insane. Been out of the country twice. I'll be going again before the end of the year. And
you were in Portugal,
Italy, right? Italy, and I'll be going to Japan in November. Which I'm really excited about. So, which is nuts. But a lot of that's for content. Some of it's just for fun. But also traveling kind of all over the country. Went to New York a couple weeks ago and did some work for a friend of mine there. Okay. And so, yeah, just the biggest thing, bro, because I feel like I'm tooting my own horn. I don't like that. Is just trying my best to be consistent. Trying my best to do really good work and trying my best to treat people really well. And then just have a really good time along the way. And doing all of that has seemed to work out so far. But I always feel like I'm right on the edge of being a barista at Starbucks. Like I'm like, I have to get this gig.
Man, that's so God.
Or I'm not gonna be able to do this anymore.
No, I want to stay on that because as a business owner, I own a construction company, which a lot of people don't know, which is crazy, but this is not paying the bills, right?
Yeah.
Yet, right? But that's it. We could have a lot of cash in the bank, right? We just get deposits or whatever. Yeah. But that's it. I feel like I'm on the verge of one mistake and then I'm back to working for somebody or whatever. But you said something that I really wanted to touch on is you really try to give your best effort, right? Yeah. Really what you're saying is you want to make sure that you have equity in these relationships.
100%.
You want to make sure that you treat people well and that the product that you're producing really gives them something to smile about, right? And so I wanted to tap in with that with you as you travel, I see you have so many friends, right? And I've been blessed to have a lot of friends as well.
Yeah.
But as I get older, the more I appreciate time and people. Right. And so it's like, okay, I could bring people on who I have equity with, who I just want to chat with about anything and everything. And so with you, I wanted to pick your brain tonight about the importance of relational equity. Like, because we don't teach it like in the church, right? And we, Lord knows this is not a Social Dallas or any type of church podcast. This is not that, right? RJ is politically incorrect a lot of times, sometimes on purpose, right?
Yeah, sure.
But I want you to just kind of tap in like the value of that, of like maintaining good standing status with people and not just burning a bridge, say, because you got the next gig or whatever that's bigger and better. Where do you see the value the most at when it comes to relational equity?
Bro, it's not even about value, like in like business wise.
Yeah.
It's not even about that.
Right. We're not talking dollars for sure.
That'll come.
Yeah.
All that stuff will come. Money will come, like the gigs will come, all that stuff will come if you get this right. You know what I mean? And this being like the thing of relational equity, like being able to have really good relationships with people, and loving people really well, and not talking about the business side real quick, like not saying no because of money. There was a guy who hit me up literally 2 days ago on Instagram, and he was like, "Hey, so and so gave me your number." Or give me your page. I'm getting engaged this weekend. He's like, could you shoot a video of our engagement? What would that cost?
Yeah.
And so I sent back the cost. But what I did was, because he was a referral and I knew the guy really well that referred him, and I was like, well, whatever. So normally I would say like, okay, that's going to be a half a day shoot for me, anything under 4 hours. So that's $500. And then $250 to edit the video. So $750. But I said, well, we're talking about this weekend, and you're getting married. Like this is a big deal. Like you've probably spent a bunch of money already. So I replied and I said, here's what I normally would charge, but I will do the whole thing all in for $500 for you. Well, he left it on red. Like he read the whole message and didn't reply. And I'm like, oh man, that was probably too much for him. So I'm sitting there thinking about it. I don't know this guy from a can of paint. Like I just started following him when he asked me this question.
Yeah.
So I sent him another message. I waited like 3 hours. I'm not desperate. I don't need the $500.
Yeah.
But like I'm thinking about him and I'm going from his perspective. Like he really wants a good video. And because I might have priced myself out because it was short notice. He couldn't afford $500, whatever it was. I don't want him to have a crappy video because of that. That's dumb.
Yeah.
So I sent back a message. I was like, hey, man, I know that still might be a lot for short notice. So I don't want to change. I can't change the price, but I'd be willing to do, half and half, or if you want to do 3 payments.
A payment plan.
That's whatever cool. You want to do. Like however I can make this easy for you is what I want to do, because I want, not because I'm so desperate for the money or because I'm so desperate to do that. It's because I want to help you. Like I genuinely want to be in your corner. Like anytime I'm a part of anything like that, especially big moments in people's lives, my posture is always like, I'm so honored to be here. Like, I don't care. Pay me. Thank you. Yes. That's what's going to get me here, because I have to pay my bills and this is my time and all that. But like, gosh, the real thing is, thanks for the payment, but gosh, I'm so excited to be here with you. Like, how fun is this?
Yeah.
And so really what it comes down to is figuring out, like, how do people want to be treated? How do you want to be treated? Like, in any situation, and then treat people that way. Like, no matter what they do to you, or no matter how they've treated you, or no matter, and that's a whole nother can, that we could open.
Stay there. No, you're right, because I'm running into, I want to be careful how I say this, but I also want to just say what I'm thinking and what I'm living right now. Yeah. I'm running across Christians in business and Christians just in the church who are mean. And it's just not, it's an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, what? Like,
yeah.
Do you know the same Jesus I know? Like, right? My mentor told me it's called spiritual amnesia. We forget what the Lord has saved us from. So we're quick to judge, or we're quick to be mean to somebody, right?
Yeah.
But I just love what you said. You wanted to be a part of special moments. Yeah. I can't get off of when we first sat down, like with our team, and you were there. We're back in your back room, and we're just talking about how can we make this come to life.
Yeah. And
I think you picked up right off the jump, RJ does not know what the heck he's doing.
Most people don't when they start
and
to
I don't, and I'm okay.
And that's okay.
And I'm secure enough in not just in my manhood, but just who I am as a person in Christ, that I'm okay with saying, I don't know, right?
Sure.
Years ago, I would never tell you that. I promise you I wouldn't, right?
Right.
But you recognize I didn't know what I was doing. And I remember I think it was probably coffee, because you drink coffee, a girly drink. And
you're just
you drank it, and I think you were pausing to figure out like how you were going to do this. And you started breaking it down. And I remember I looked at my stylist, I looked at the time my assistant, and all right, let's figure out how to do this. I'm overwhelmed, but I can't let them know I'm overwhelmed. But you really like broke it down, like, hey man, like, be consistent, do these things. You started believing in the vision before I even believed in it.
Right.
And I was like, man, that's cool. And so on the way up here, when we're talking in the elevator, I told you like the hardest part right now in doing this is being consistent. When I feel like we're up against the wall and it's like, are we reaching who we want to reach? And the answer is no, right? Sure. Like that's the answer. It's no. But the victory, I believe, is the consistency, right? And like I told you, it seems like every single time I'm debating, I mean, should we keep on doing this? Because I told you, if this was just me and my vision, I promise you I'd been done episodes ago. But it's every time I start doubting, Jay Talley, I'll get a phone call. And not just a text, it's a phone call from a random person. This last week, shout out to Mandy Ellis, lady from back home, Abilene, where it all started. I get out of prison. She's one of the first people that calls me.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, whatever you want to get attached to in the church, it's covered. So now fast forward to last week. She has no clue what I'm doing, what my mental is. And, she's a seasoned woman, right? So she's up there. Shouldn't have said up there, but because she watches. But she's, yes, Mandy, we love you. But she first shoots me a text, and she says, you're on my heart. Are you free? I don't even get a chance to answer. She calls me.
Yeah.
I'm at Home Depot. And she's like, I just want to let you know that you just have this voice. And and I'm not talking about your tone. I'm talking about this voice that's been birthed inside of you. And she said, whatever you need, I'm here for that pod because you have been a vehicle of hope for this.
Wow.
And I said, well, what is this? And she says, some of those episodes are for me, but a lot of them are for people that are attached to me. And she said, I'm here to tell you don't quit. And I'm like, what? Like, how does this happen? Like, but it's the consistency of like what you told me. But it's also, I go back to that equity that I have with Mandy. She's seen me do like some stupid things, mess up, right? But my posture has always been, how can I right the wrongs, right? And I see you travel and stuff and go shoot. You said you were in New York with some friends. Yeah. Just the importance, and that's what I want to kind of finish this segment on, is the importance of friendship. Yeah. Right. And I think a lot of times as people try to fulfill their vision and what their dreams are, society kind of promotes, hey, step on whoever you need to step on to get there.
Right.
But in kingdom-minded principles, I believe it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Like latch yourself onto people who love the Lord first and then love people, and then those opportunities will come. If you can kind of just somehow tie that in of how you've been able to just keep relationships and how you've seen the benefits of that when it comes to like now your dreams of what you want to do.
Yeah, man. You know what? So I used to have a podcast. I had two, and one was a leadership one, and I always ended it with this statement. Okay. There are way too many people telling people about Jesus and not enough folks showing what he was like. So let's go do that.
Hold up. You said that too fast. That's too good. Hold up. Please. The captions are going now. Go ahead and say that. Yeah.
So there are way too many people telling folks about Jesus. Let me start over. There are way too many people telling people about Jesus and not enough folks showing what he was like. So let's go do that.
Wow. And
the thing is, bro, that is legitimately like, and you can ask people that are close to me, and I hope they would answer this. But that's genuinely how I try, like, to live. You know what I mean? There's definitely parts of my life and parts of my journey that are not the brightest, and there are decisions that I make even to this day that are probably not things that are very reflective of Jesus. But when I think about major decisions, or I think about relationships, or I think about those types of things, it always runs through the filter of like, what would the Lord do in this situation? And 9 times out of 10, it's the lowest road possible. Like, that's the answer. The reason why people are so excited to tell people about Jesus is because we're really excited to tell people, look at what Jesus did in this situation. He took this road. He did this thing. He sacrificed here. But when it comes time for us to do that, for us to sacrifice for people or to love people despite what they look like, smell like, act like, or what they've done to us, that's really, really difficult for us to do because we have a tremendous amount of pride. And I'm speaking for all of us, because whether we say we're humble or not, most of the time we're really proud to be humble. Do you know what I mean? Like, look at how humble I am. And so the irony in this conversation, even because I'm talking about my humility in these situations, but yeah, man, I think when you think about like not only how you want to be treated, but when we think about what does the Lord actually say about how we should treat people, Jesus said that this is how they're going to know that you're my disciples, is by your love for one another.
Absolutely.
So this is the thing about me, and I'm not necessarily encouraging everybody to do this. You can, whatever. But I'm very intentional about telling people that I love them. And I'm very intentional about internalizing that to be true. Do you know what I mean? I can say it all day long, but like, if you are on the side of the road stranded, am I willing to drop everything and come and help you? And most of the time the answer is yes, because the key to like great relationships and the key to really winning when it comes to those kinds of things is availability. Like, availability is the thing that will change everything. If you are available to people, no matter what, then people are going to be available to you. And that's the thing. And it's not I did this for you, so you got to do this for me. I've been guilty of that. You know, I've been guilty of saying, hey, I did this for you. Like, you should at least do this for me.
You owe me one.
But sure. And I'm certainly been because that's my humanity that creeps up and says, like, they owe you. But this is one of the reasons why I don't loan money, like ever. If someone asks me for money, I will give it to them if I have it. Mm-hmm. And then I'll say something along the lines of, look, if you want to pay me back, you can, but like, I'm not keeping tabs on this, Mm-hmm. And so because if I do, that becomes a thing that separates this relationship. The borrower is slave to the lender.
For sure.
Says. And so it's like, I'm not trying to, have anybody feel a certain kind of way about me or whatever because they owe me something, because that's really what it comes down to is like, you don't owe me anything. Like, you owe him everything. We owe him everything, but he paid up for everything. So why in the world are we worried about who owes who? Mm-hmm. It's all just money in the end. Like, it's all just stuff. It's all just time in the end. Like, what's the most important thing? It's relationships.
Absolutely.
Hands down, bro. And those kind of things, like that thinking has been the thing that has led me to be able to do a lot of what I'm doing because having the right people around you, mm-hmm. the right friends, the right support group, the right mentors, like having the right people around you changes everything. It changes everything because then you put yourself in a position to be able to not only have support where you're not out here by yourself because you can't do anything by yourself. I didn't get where I am by myself. Shout out to Vinny, who I bought my first 2 cameras from. Shout out to, all these different people. Esther, who taught me things. Like, my Kara McPeak, like, I would not be here if it wasn't for them. I cannot look in the mirror and say I'm a self-made man because I'm not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I can't say that. And so in the same regard, I want to not only turn around and do the same thing for other people and say, how can I help you or how can I do this for you or whatever, but in like loving people and giving everything to people, like giving it away, like whatever, who cares? Mm-hmm. Like, if you don't pay me, whatever, like there's I can't tell you how many shoots that I've done a similar situation that I told you where I'd be like, well, look, like we can work this out, whatever. And then I don't get paid. Well, guess what? If that person called me and wanted to do a shoot again, I probably would. Terms would look a little different. Be like, hey, save up the money whenever you're ready. Just call me. We'll do it. Like, I'm not going to look at them and go, no, you didn't pay me last time. You did,
yeah.
Whatever. Like, it's whatever. Like, I get to sleep in my bed at night and be comfortable. I can pay my bills. Like, and here's the thing, bro. Genuinely, I might be wrong on this, but I read my Bible and I think it's true. Mm-hmm. I think because of the way that I try to be so intentional about being good to people and treating people well.
Yeah.
All this stuff just works itself out. Like, I don't stress over this stuff.
Gosh, you're saying something that I live off of because I'm trying to balance that, right? Like, people do come to me as a resource, but also I'm generous, right?
Sure.
So they come and sometimes they ask for money, borrow, whatever. I don't like to lend money. That's right. I don't. If I have to think about it and pray about it, probably the answer is no.
Yeah.
If I don't have to think or pray about it, I just, okay. Sometimes we just got to be the blessing, right?
For sure.
And I'll do that, but I'm struggling with that on the part of where, how do I want to say this? Giving, but not holding use your name, a tally on them. Hey, because people tend to act funny with money, right?
For sure.
But I don't want to lose a relationship over money.
Yeah.
Right. Because like what you said, and this is what I wanted to get to is when I do give people money and they're like, well, I could pay, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I'm really not saying we will figure it out. Like, the Lord and I will figure this out.
Yeah.
And I promise, Jay Talley, every time I've loaned somebody any kind of money, the Lord has given it before they even paid it back. It's insane. I don't even know how to math that because that math doesn't math, right? Yeah. But I truly believe out of the generosity, if we're going to speak from generosity, the Lord pays that payment back.
100%.
Right. And a lot of times it's not even money. It's in other things, opportunities or whatever. I don't want to share this story because it's kind of a private one, but most recently, I can't share all the details. For some reason, I had some cash in my glove compartment in the car.
For some reason.
I know why.
Okay. I was like, man, I'm going to open my glove box so I get in the car.
It's not there, yeah. It's valeted right now. But anyway, because I was paying one of my guys, but because he was, just keep it 100, he was overdraft on his bank account. Mm-hmm. He asked if I could pay him cash. Mm. So I pulled it out and he was like, oh, screw it. No. My wife said we need to keep it on the check so we can, cool. Well, I had already pulled out the cash, put it in my glove compartment, whatever. that morning, I'm meeting with a good friend of mine who just tells me, hey, I'm kind of like in the situation. Not kidding you. The amount that he needed, and he's not even asking me for it. He's just telling me a need. I said, let's go to, the Holy Spirit told me first, let's go to the car. So we go to the car, open it up, and it's almost like within, I would say $20-$40, the amount that he needed. Cool, whatever. Give it whatever. Next day, I'm supposed to drive back to Abilene, right? Random lady calls me and she says, hey, can you do this, right? And so I send one of my guys. And because we were able to do it in a timely manner, she gives me basically just a commission, a bonus or whatever, that is almost the dollar amount that what we just gave away. And it doesn't make any sense, right? But it goes back to that generosity spirit, but also like just being kind to people.
Right.
I get frustrated when I see people giving people hell and preaching heaven. Yeah. Right? It's just, it drives me insane. Yeah. But I think you said something, your posture has always been about like, you want to just be good to people.
For sure.
And so I love that part. Yeah. If our posture can just be, let's just try to be the best people that represent Jesus well, everything else will just figure itself out.
It works itself out. And the one thing that I will say that's so crucial in this whole thing, that's really the why behind it all, is the fact that nothing belongs to us, bro.
Right.
Where we get this thing twisted is thinking that the money's ours, the car's ours, the house is ours, the job is ours, like all the things. None of those things belong to you. So if none of them belong to you, it doesn't matter if you get rid of it. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you give it away. Yeah. It doesn't matter if, now, obviously there's limits in those things. Like, I'm not going to give all my cameras away because then I can't work. You know what I mean? Like that. Like
that's
like,
stupidity,
you know what I mean?
right? That's not generosity. It's stupidity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like when you give, it's not you giving your money away. It's you being a resource. That's it. You're being a funnel, because God's going to give you things, trusting that you're going to give because he knows your heart. So that's why it always goes back to the heart posture. It's not about pride. It's not about how much money you make. It's not about all these things. It's about what are you going to do with what you have? Because whatever you do with a little, you're going to do with a lot.
Absolutely.
The hope is anyway. And the Lord is the only one that knows our heart well enough to know if we can actually handle it. And so, yeah, I mean, there's been so many, now, I don't know, there's just been so many situations that I could talk about. We don't have to get into all of it, but the bottom line is that, like, we have to recognize that it all belongs to him. And if it belongs to him, it's a whole lot easier to give away. And, if you gave me $100 and was like, do whatever you want to with it, and then, my friend says, hey, bro, I really need $100, I'd be like, oh, boom, there you go. Like, I don't feel a certain kind of way about it. But if I have $200 in the bank and a friend asks me for $100, I'm going to be like, I don't know. Like, because it's mine and I'm losing it. And what am I going to do? How am I going to, And so this has not been like a recent development. There's been so many times, and I'll be real with you. Like, when I was doing Young Life specifically, as an area director, I was making $34,000 a year, full time. And there were so many times that I would buy food for a kid because the area we were in, some of the kids, struggled financially. So there'd be so many times that I would personally buy food for a kid, but then we also had like a budget line item, so I could use some of the Young Life money to do that too. But I would go home and eat, ramen noodles, but I bought this kid Jack in the Box or whatever it is. I'll never forget one time there was this kid who came up to me after a sand volleyball tournament, and he's like, Jason, he's like, we have no food at home. He's like, the cabinets are empty. He said, I'm embarrassed to say this to you. He's like, could I get some money to buy some groceries? And I said, no, I'm not going to give you money. I was like, but I'll go with you and buy groceries and help you take them home. And he goes, oh, no. My parents won't, they'll be upset, I was like, let me handle that. And so I told him, I said, what you didn't know was tonight we were actually having a competition. It was a secret competition. And it was whoever came up and told me the truth gets whatever they want. I said, so we're going to go to the store. And so we went to the store, bought a bunch of groceries, carried them up the stairs, and sure enough, Dad answers the door. He's pretty upset because he sees the bags. He knows that he said some stuff. He tells him to go to his room. He invites me into the house. There's roaches crawling on the wall. Like, I'm not exaggerating. It was a tough situation. And I proceeded to sit down and tell him the truth of the matter, which was that, he had won this competition and he chose to use his winnings to buy groceries. And so I told him, absolutely. And I wanted to help him carry him up. And this was not me lying at all. This was me making, like I said earlier, we have such a beautiful opportunity in life. Carlos Whitaker wrote a book called Moment Maker. And it's one of my favorites, where he talks about. I
have that book actually at my house right now.
It's the best, bro.
I haven't read it.
You need to read it. He talks about how in life we are given moments and we get to choose basically how those moments are going to play out because of our posture towards that moment. Mm-hmm. So I can walk into this house and be very uncomfortable, very nervous, very anxious, tell him the truth. I'm sorry. He told me that you guys needed da-da-da-da-da. And then he's going to get in trouble. It's going to be this really negative stain of a day. Or how can I flip this to make this magical and wonderful and Disney-esque?
Mm-hmm.
How can we have sparkles in this moment? And so for me, I'm like, I'm constantly looking for ways to do those kinds of things, because I think that life genuinely is about adventure and about fun, and we get to choose how we live our days. The truth is, the same exact thing can happen to two people, and two totally different outcomes come out of that. Somebody punches you in the face and me in the face, and we react differently. Well, you get mad, you get frustrated, you punch them back. I go, why did you do that? Can I help you? Is there something you need? The posture is all about, the situation's all about that. Life is literally 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to what happens to us. And so we have to learn to react differently. We have to learn to treat people differently and learn how to figure out not only treating people just in general in a good way, mm-hmm. but doing that because that's the right thing to do and because that's what Jesus wants us to do. And it's probably what he would do, if I had to guess.
Oh, that's so good. GP, thank y'all so much. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to go into tea time. All right, fam, we're back with Jay Talley. Now to do tea time. Tea time, Jason, is where we get rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So you got to answer them right away. But we have partnered with our friends at Substance, and so we have 3 categories, right? First one is going to be vulnerable,
cool,
intimacy, and then mind F. Okay. So I'm going to ask you. You have, like I said, 20 seconds to think at the very... No, don't even think. Just rapid fire.
Okay, got it.
And then shoot them back off, and then you'll, of course, do the same thing to me.
Okay.
But, time for tea time.
Let's do it.
You or me first?
Go ahead.
1, 2, or 3?
2.
This is a mind F.
Okay. All right.
What is your biggest fear?
Falling, dude.
Falling?
Yeah.
At 38 years old, your fear is falling.
Not like rolling my ankle and falling right here on the floor. I'm talking like if I'm on the edge of a cliff, like I'm terrified. Like I'm scared to death of falling.
Not in love, but falling off a cliff.
Right. I'm probably scared of that too, if we're honest. Yeah. No, actually, I'm going to be honest, because that was my immediate answer, but I'm going to give you a good answer because that was an okay answer. I am actually scared to death of dying alone. Yeah.
That's real.
Oh, 100%.
No, that's real, especially at our age.
Yeah, I just turned 38. I'm still single. That's not a plug unless you're interested. But hit me up, Jay Talley on Instagram. But I'm like, I genuinely am. Like I'm terrified of being, old and alone. Yeah.
No. Thank you for that honesty.
Yeah, for real.
All right.
I guess tell me a number.
2.
Okay. Yeah, so this is intimacy.
Intimacy.
Does the number of past partners matter to you?
Yes, it does matter, and it shouldn't matter, but it does matter for me.
Okay.
At 41 years old, I said this recently to my twin, who's not my twin, but people know who my twin is. I never want to be in a room where somebody has been with my person.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Just because I don't know that I could personally honor her the way that I have planned to do it if somebody has been with her. So the number does matter for me. Yeah. You?
No.
It doesn't. Okay.
That's and this is not throwing back on you like that you don't have this, but for me it all goes back to like that grace thing. Like
no, absolutely.
Thing. I'm going, look, whatever, like if the Lord forgives you, I forgive you. Like I can't, but I've never thought about the scenario of being in the room with someone else. Yeah, I don't know how I would handle that situation, but.
And remember, this is not a church pod. This is not, Social Dallas is not part of this pod.
Sponsored, yeah.
Yeah. So I got to say this because this question just popped up. We had this talk with a group of guys.
Okay.
It doesn't matter for me as far as like the number of times she's been intimate.
Yeah.
I think until I know. Because I don't want to know, but once I know,
yeah, it's like, oh gosh,
oh no,
yeah.
That's where I want. And so it's like some have one partner who they've been with X amount of years,
sure,
and whatever, blah blah blah,
yeah.
Or multiple people for just a few times. I don't know. I'd rather not know,
right,
so that I could grace them easier.
Yeah, for sure, and that's definitely how I feel.
Yeah,
and for me, it's just like I just don't keep count.
Yeah,
that's easy.
Oh, yeah, you don't keep count.
Just don't keep counting, and you don't got to worry about telling the number. I'm just playing. Okay.
Oh, okay. Your turn to ask me.
Yeah.
Again, you backdoor it.
Oh, okay. So I'm just gonna ask one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What category are we in?
This is gonna be mine to F. What advice would your older self give you right now? So you as an old man, what would he say to you?
I would think my older version of me, the advice he'd give me right now would be pause more. Like stop trying to hustle so much.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about rest. I'm not talking about going to sleep. I'm just like pause, enjoy the moment. Because I think sometimes even we're so caught up in our social media that sometimes I can be, even with the people I love the most, who are my kids, and I catch myself scrolling for no reason.
Yep.
Right. And so I would think that my older self would tell my current self, pause.
Got it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Intimacy.
Okay.
How important are political beliefs in your relationship?
I don't think they're very important as long as they're not loud. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you can be whatever you are politically. I just don't want you yelling about it.
To you or just to
in general. Like
I love that.
Like because I think finding somebody or even if you have somebody that like you are close with, you're never going to agree on everything. So if we politically disagree a little bit, that's okay. Because you have the right to be right or wrong, and I have the right to be right or wrong, and so we can be okay with that. The only reason that those become issues in general is because people are loud about them. And so I think, especially as Christians, I think we're supposed to be meek in those areas. Sometimes I think we're a lot louder than maybe we should be, except for on matters of spiritual and humanitarian importance.
Right. Don't be loud on your politics and silent about Jesus.
Yeah.
Right. Like
that's just fact. Yeah. Or what Jesus would be loud about. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Be loud about what Jesus would be loud about. But there's just so many things. So yeah, I don't think I would care that much as long as she wasn't screaming about it.
Okay. Sweet.
Picket sign and
no, you're good.
Yeah.
So
okay. So actually, what's crazy is let me see. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Okay, here we go. So this is the last one. This is vulnerable. What was the lowest point of your life, and how did you overcome it?
Good question. It would have to be prison. I still remember. We know some of the same spiritual. Well, you shot some video of my spiritual dad, Tim Ross.
Yeah, for sure.
In prison, there's 2 TVs, and on Sundays, one of the TVs is on the church channel. And I look up, and there's a conference being broadcast, and it was an old conference, and John Gray is preaching, and I'm at that conference.
Oh,
and now like reality's hitting. Like, how am I here? And my circle is there on TV, and I go, and I remember I took my dad, and I took a bunch of friends there, and like it was just hosted at Gateway, and like all these like. Man, I was there, like, so I'm already feeling bad. The very next segment that pops up, your boy Michael Todd is releasing relationship goals. The MC happens to be Tim Ross. And so I'm like, what? Like, no, like this can't be. Like they're doing this, they're enjoying. I've been in that circle with them. Like, And I remember that night I said, God, I don't understand you right now. Yeah. And I know it's not your fault that I'm in here, but you also didn't come through the way I was praying you would. So I'm going to strip my faith. I'm not going to not believe in you because I'm terrified to do that. I'm not going to curse you because I'm scared of you still. But I'm going to strip my faith, and I'm just going to ask you to be the God that you say you are. And Jay Talley, what I learned in that season of my life is the God who did still does. And so he started to break me down, allowed me to just hear the voices of promises that he had over my life and not the lies and the doubts that I had over my own life.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, it was there in prison that the Lord just started to show me the dreams he had for me, and start breaking down the lies and the disbelief that I had for myself. So,
man, that's huge.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
For sure. Okay. Vulnerable.
Okay.
Last one for you. Who broke you?
Oh, Jesus. That would be my ex-fiance. Yeah, for sure. Even though it was partially a lot of my doing, I was engaged back in 2020, and she broke up with me the week of the wedding, and was married to someone else 3 months later.
God, dog.
Yeah, and the thing for me was, when it happened, when we broke up, I felt like I had the opportunity to do one of two things. I still remember this to this day. I was living in Detroit at the time.
Okay.
I got on Google Maps and mapped how far the drive was from my house to LA. And I said, I might just move to LA, change my name, go by a completely different alias, change my number, and no one will ever see me again. And I sat with that for 24 hours because I was like, I was massively embarrassed because it was the week of the wedding. Like, it was during COVID. It was going to be very small. Our parents and her parents' backyard, like, it was going to be very intimate. Yeah. But yeah, and it was because, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was unfaithful in that relationship when we were dating, and I didn't tell her about that. And that was a big enough excuse, as it should have been, for her to call everything off. But the irony of that situation is, for 3 months, I was a dog. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm so sexually undisciplined. I can't handle myself. I was overweight. Not to say that I'm in a perfect weight now, but I was
athletic.
Bad.
You're athletic,
very
remember?
athletic, bro. Yeah. Bro, I bought a bike. I cut off all, like, social media and Netflix and Hulu and all these things. I started riding my bike every day. I rode 10 miles a day. I rode 1,000 miles in 6 months. Wow. And I remember celebrating that with the brand new, at the time, spicy chicken sandwich from Popeyes, which I had today, and I didn't ride 1,000 miles. Okay, but yeah, that was literally, I remember at the end. I'm sorry, this is such an aside, but I remember the last mile of that 1,000 miles. I promise you, I'm not exaggerating this at all. It was after I got off work. I was living in Michigan. I was riding. It got dark. It started to rain. I didn't have a light for my bike. I was using my phone while I'm riding in the rain. I'm listening to Disney soundtracks, and Under the Sea is playing. Okay,
quit right now.
Okay, I promise you, I'm not exaggerating. I'm like, Under the Sea. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. I parked in a Home Depot parking lot. I get back to Home Depot, and I hit the 1,000 miles. And I don't care. We talked about a story prior to this that was similar to this, but I took my shirt off in the middle of Home Depot. It was like 8:00 at night, but I took my shirt off, and I was like. It was literally like a Rocky moment,
Yeah.
But I lost 50 pounds in that period of time.
Awesome.
It was just a wonderfully disciplined time for me. And then I learned that, she was married, because her and her new husband came up as a suggested friend on Facebook.
The algorithms are stupid.
Yeah, we love Facebook. Facebook, and to this day, like, I've deleted all of our stuff, but somehow, like, Facebook will be like, look back at this moment from 2020. I'm like, I'd rather not,
That's why I don't have Facebook.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, so dumb. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so what's crazy about that, and I'll say this and we can move on, is when you say who broke me, like, I won't say that she broke me. It was more of like that will forever be the linchpin of my life. You know, if I would have stayed with her and gotten married, I would be a completely different person now. Wow. And I look at who I am now and go, I'm really okay with this. You know, I'm really kind of happy about this. And so, yeah, you know, and that was that.
No, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah,
for sure.
It's not a coincidence. That was the question, but yeah. I like it. GP, thank y'all so much for tuning in to Tea Time. Thank you to our friends at Substance. We love the questions. We love answering them. Thank you for being vulnerable, being intimate, and letting us know what your mind is doing.
For sure. So, thanks, Substance, for those questions.
Yeah. All right, GP fam, it's time for my favorite segment called Mic Flip. This is where I, the host, become the guest, and the guest becomes the host. So, Jay Talley, I'm going to give you 5 seconds. Prepare yourself. You are going to give yourself the intro of a lifetime. Okay. You are now the host of Going Public. You get to ask me anything and everything. Let's limit it to 2 questions.
Okay.
But nothing is off the table. It's my turn to go public. So,
okay.
In 5,
all right.
4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What's up, GP fam? It's your boy, Jay Talley here. And today on the pod, we're so excited to have JR. You might not have never...
Hold up. You said JR instead of RJ. What? So start...
RJ.
So no, you got to start all the way over.
JR, what is wrong with me?
I don't know. Like, it's a camera. The camera will do that. I mean, you got 4 facing you right now, but your voice was perfect. So go.
Okay, so we're starting all over.
Okay,
here we go.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1...
What's up, GP fam? This is your boy, Jay Talley. I'm here in the pod studio right now with my boy, RJ. Man, you might not have never seen him before. He is a legend, okay? First of all, we're not even going to talk about the kicks because you can't even see him, okay? The best hat game in the world, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. And, man, it's just such an honor to be here with you, bro. How are you?
I'm so good. I think we might have found our guest host for Going Public. Man, dude, you're better than I am. I promise you are. You are. That, yeah. But, yeah, man, it's your turn to to lead the pod. And so go for it.
Okay, so 2 questions, really, honestly. And we're gonna keep it to these 2, and it's going to be very simple. One's going to be a little deep, one be a little light, okay?
All right.
You want to go deep or light first?
Light.
Okay, cool. So I have a very legitimate reason for wearing hats all the time. Okay? You wear hats all the time, and I need you to tell me why in the world, because you've got that thing sticking, you got some stuff sticking out from behind there that I'm just a little bit jealous of. So can we talk about that?
Am I turning red right now? Because I feel like I am.
Can't tell. The hat's a little too low.
Well, that's my. Well, I was in trouble with the team. Yeah. So now
we got to get some light.
Now my posture's
here.
changing. Yeah. Right. As I'm trying to
talk about that.
Yes. So, man, I was going bald. I was imagine. I know you can't imagine. It's so hard to believe, but they always say it's your mom's dad. Right?
That makes sense.
Well, in the Hispanic culture, that's what they say.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if it's facts, but it's gospel in the Hispanic world, right?
Makes sense.
But my mom's dad, long hair, full hair. My dad, more hair than I have. All my uncle, I mean, I don't know where it's at. So this made me question, as I was balding, it made me question, who's my family, right? All the things. But it started really after prison. I noticed like my hair was real thin, and the confidence started to go, right? I think as we age, we're just like, oh my gosh, like I can't wear the certain things, and then I gotta cover it up a little bit. I'm still single. I'm trying to like look younger and all these things. So it's really, I was balding, and I got to give a shout out to the 2 people that have helped me, and I could take my hat off right now, but I'll show you here in a second. The first one, Erica Martinez with Fort Worth S&P. She did the S&P work on my head.
Okay.
And so really it's a tattoo with hair follicles like all over. Like she just won 3rd place in the United States. Like insane. She found me on TikTok and collabed, and she just did it, right? And like she's like the best of the best. But she did that and instantly the confidence was just like, okay, I could take my hat off.
Yeah.
Right. And, but I still wasn't satisfied. I was jealous of like my boys, Jeremiah and Noah, like they got hair like crazy, right? And so I found a new friend, Glow, and she was like, "Hey, let's do this." Basically, it's a toupee type thing. It's I would think it's like a modern day toupee, right? So think about, I go in there and I have all the photos to prove this point. And our boy Steven has some of those photos that he'll send, just a random sends. So it's the old man haircut, right? So you grow your hair out.
Yeah.
And then where the crown is, where you're balding, she shaves it completely, right?
For sure. Yep.
Does all the glue, all the things. And so I'll take it off right here. So
dude,
what? Like what?
It looks good.
It does, and it's messy right now. But there's still like that part of like, because it's not mine, I can't own it. So like there's that still like an insecurity.
For sure.
But at the wedding this weekend, Jameson, my boy Jameson, got married this weekend. I had it out, and everybody was like, dude, RJ, like, right? And then I have a brother who's 10 years younger.
Okay.
I got to say this story. 10 years younger, somebody asked Jacob, so which one of y'all is older? My hand was this big. So I got to give a shout out to Glow the barber for that. She does my hair all the time. She's also my full-time barber. But
sure.
Yeah. So,
dude, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. So,
I think that's the first time I've ever seen you without a hat.
Really?
I think so.
I'll pull it off every once in a while at church when like I dress up like a little bit more.
Sure.
But 95% of the time I'm in a hat.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, if you would have walked up to me at North Park Mall without a hat on, I'd be like, "Oh, hey!" Like, that's just so like
it's such a different.
It's
guy.
such a different person. Yeah.
So,
but I like it. It's nice.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
People have really pushed me to like rock the bald.
You can do it,
and I have. But here's the thing.
That's what we're gonna do for the rest of the set. We're hats are off. Fine. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
All right.
Yeah,
we're going public with our heads.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I would do this. This is actually an insecurity, but I would do this if I lost a little bit of weight. Because like when I see myself without a hat on, my head feels big. Okay.
No, I get that right, because I felt big.
Does.
My cheeks are big.
Yeah, I'm
my triple chin, like all those things.
Okay, let me call somebody out who's actually in the room. Okay. So my friend Z is here. He's doing BTS for me.
Yeah.
Okay, good friend. Okay, love him deeply. There was one time when he was in high school. Okay, I knew him from Young Life. He was in Young Life. He was in high school, and I at the time had hair. But I didn't have a beard at all. Okay. Oh, whoa. Hang on. Relax. All right.
You know why? Because I can see it. Because when I buzz my head, my son Noah says, "Dad, you look like the thumbs up emoji."
Well,
that was the first time I wanted to flip off my kid.
Z did worse than that. Okay. He's he's trying not to laugh right now. He posted a picture of me side by side. So no beard. And I shaved my head because youth pastor, they had this can drive, and I was like, oh, if you raise this many cans, I'll shave my head. And I had a nice head of hair at the time. Like I spiked it up and stuff. And they did it. And so I shaved my head. So no hair, no beard, no glasses.
Ooh.
So he does this side by side of me and a raw piece of chicken. And it is identical. Like I will admit, like no cap. It is identical. And I'm like, oh God. Like I literally look like a raw piece of chicken in the plastic, like the shiny in the plastic that you buy at the grocery store. It's exactly what I look like. And Z was the first one to like bring that to light, which I love and appreciate him for. But since then, he has come up with a plethora of other things to call me. He was my roommate at one point in time, and our Wi-Fi password was
Tyson.
Oh God, that'd be great. No, it was MEGABALD. Megabald. That was our Wi-Fi password. Like
that is money.
Yeah, our relationship really hinges on the fact that I don't have hair anymore. So anyway, I don't even know why I brought that up, but yeah, that's that. So I want to lose some weight so that my head doesn't look so big, because I think you lose weight in your fingers and you lose weight in your cheeks and all these things when you lose weight, and that's one of the reasons why I wear a hat, because it kind of helps to kind of like define everything.
Man, I'm going to plug you in. So my twin, his name is Josh Jones.
Okay.
He's the best trainer. At one point, he was the top 10 fitness trainers in America.
Wow.
He's insane. We call each other twin, but we look nothing alike. Like he has muscles where I didn't even know you can.
Right.
But he's doing this thing. He's wanting to find people around our age. If I'm saying it, niche, right? His niche is 35 to 60-year-olds that are doing well, right? But we're just not confident in our body.
Okay.
And I'm going to put you in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's insane. But yeah.
Okay, dope.
Okay.
Okay, second question. This is the deeper one.
Okay.
Now that we've laughed.
Hats are off still, right?
That was a yeah, I mean, that was your call.
Yeah,
you said that,
we look good, yeah.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, so going back to that whole, like, it's not a plug unless you're interested. If you're still interested with this, okay, this is what you got to wake up to every day. I don't sleep with a hat on, honey. So
I used to FaceTime in bed with the hat still on.
Bro, I mean, my friends Z can probably attest it. I've literally, every time FaceTime rings, I'm like, oh crap, hang on. Hang on. Hey, what's going on? This is just who I am. It's my brand. Okay, so the other question is, I don't actually know, and this is just friends talking. If you want to take this out later, you're welcome to. But
yeah,
I don't actually know why you were in prison.
Yeah, so I get that question a lot.
Okay,
and
well, you're very vocal about it, which I appreciate. So I can imagine.
Yeah, I've. The summary of it all is I had no integrity, at all. And so it's easy to like point, okay, this guy kind of like set me up, all these. So first, it's no drugs. It's no like bad cases. I was at first working for Sprint Radio Shack, making a crap ton of money. Every Monday night, this guy would come in and buy anywhere from 6 to 10 cell phones. At that time, you're making $400 or $500 per activation.
Oh,
I'm making stupid money.
That's what you're taking home.
Yeah, per activation. So really all I had to do was work on Mondays.
Good Lord.
And I'm managing 19 different stores. But this guy, Joe, right, coming in here buying. Everybody in Sprint is making money off of mine too, right? Back-to-back years as the number one salesman in the nation for Sprint. I mean, it's insane. Like, insane.
Burner phones.
I don't know. And I don't care. I'm not asking questions.
You're being very innocent about it. You're just...
I've never been in trouble in my life.
Oh, okay, got it.
I'm doing I'm youth pastoring also on the side for no money. Actually, it's for $50 a month.
Okay, I
promise you that's what it was.
Yeah.
So I'm doing all this. January 5th, 2009, loss prevention shows up, and they were like, "Hey, can I take you to the back room?" Like, yeah, what's up? I thought I was getting another award. I swear, I really did. And I'm all, and they're like, "Well, who's this Joe Blank?" Oh, that's our number one customer. Like, yeah, everybody knows who that is. And they're like, well, do you know what he's doing with these phones? I said, yeah, it's for his enterprise. Like, it's his business. They're like, no, he's going overseas and using people's socials. Everything dropped. Like, I didn't know what to do. Never been in trouble. First person I call my dad. And my dad's like, don't sign anything. Yeah. Right? I didn't. That played a part later. The guy ended up signing both of the loss prevention guy, he signed as a rep for Sprint Radio Shack. And then I don't know why he signed his name identical. That saved me later. Well, it took about 2 years, almost 3 to go to court. Right. And, getting ready to go to court. Now I'm full time on staff at a church, young adults, pastor, traveling everywhere. So, I mean, we're everywhere. So that circle I talked about with pastors, I'm in that circle preaching with everybody. And it finally comes up. I'm flying back from Vegas. I just met with our boy, Jason Talley, who'd been to social just recently.
Yeah.
He's a good friend. I'm flying back from a conference with him and Benny, President Judah Smith coming back. And I can feel the tension in the room. And I'm like, what? And so somebody's found out, like, I'm going to court. I haven't even told my senior pastor. Nobody knows anything, right? I just have no integrity. Well, I get a call from my lawyer, and he was like, it's time to go to court. And it's serious now. And so my ex-wife now, her and I were really just fasting. I'm 24, 25 years old. We're fasting and just asking God for something. I get a call 6 o'clock in the morning, and the guy's like, hey, man, you've been heavy on my heart. If you'll just open up, I think I'm here to help you. I'm thinking, oh, shoot, the Lord is speaking, right? And so I was like, meet me at the refuge. So we go to
Who's this guy? I'm sorry?
He's a youth sponsor.
Okay.
Basically a parent of one of our youth members. Calls me, the exact time was 6:17. Calls me and tells me that. So I was like, man, yeah, meet me at the refuge, which is our youth building. Tell him the whole thing. This is the first time I've ever told anybody the truth like that. told him everything, and he was like, all right, we've inherited $28 million. Tell them that you have 50,000, because the retainer was going to be 80-something thousand that I had to pay back, right? And he says it, and I was like, well, I don't have 50,000. He goes, you will have 50,000 by the end of today. This was a Wednesday morning. I remember running back and telling my wife at the time, I still remember the message that I preached called delayed gratification, about just how sometimes we just got to hold on and the Lord just comes through. And it's not our faith that gets us in the situation, but it's our faith that gets us out. Gosh. Blah, blah, blah. I don't say blah, blah, blah. Well, we go and we settle for 50,000 instead of the 80. That's what I told him. We really settled for 42,000. I had no integrity. I kept 8. Stupid, right? Well, now it starts circling around the church, and the senior pastor finds out, and he's like, well, we need to release you from this. But at the time, Jay Talley, I was getting asked to speak everywhere. And I don't want to like shout out myself, but I was a voice people wanted, and they sought out after to bring in, even more so than my senior pastor. And there was probably a little bit of jealousy, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to say that about him, because I don't know how I would have handled that situation. Anyways, I have to step down as student ministries pastor. I'm on probation, whatever. I start a construction company, and I write a check to one of my workers. Check, you ain't going to believe it. The check was for $225. He double cashes it. I don't really have the cash, but we're on a project on Dice Air Force Base, and they're paying with a credit card, so there's like some pending charges, right? Well, he double deposits it. I think it's with the picture pay, and then he goes to like a check cashing. That put my account negative, and now there's a hot check for $225. That check got sent to the Attorney General's office and the DA, and now I have violated my probation. And so now I'm locked up for what they call motion to revoke. Motion to revoke. And I had been in jail often just for like money stuff. I just had no integrity. And I can say that honestly now, like I would never say this, but I just had no integrity with finances. And so I get locked up, and they give me my first deal in like 25 days or so. They're like, okay, you can go away for 12 months, come back on 7 years probation. I'm like, no, bump that. Like, no, there's no way. Next 30 days, kind of the same thing, just a little bit less. Finally, the third time, I go in front of a judge, and it's a guest judge this time. And she said, we're going to have a trial right now. And I'm freaking out. And she says, son, you've been paying about $1,400 a month on this probation for 7 years. Why don't you sign for a 5, which is prison time? You'll be out in about 7 months. This is right before COVID. And I'm saying, I look, and I'm thinking, okay, I have some back time, meaning you've been in jail for a little bit, you get credit on those. All right, 7 months, everybody's telling me this is a light crime, I'll get out in 7 months. So I decide to sign on a 5. COVID hits, and what was supposed to be less than 7 months, 3 days, turned into 649 days. Wow. Almost 2 years. And so, yeah, that's what I went away for. So the charge is misapplication by fiduciary funds in property. Still don't know what that means. Don't even care.
Using it wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Misapplication.
Really what I tell people, I had no integrity with cash at all. And so as the Lord begins to try to like shape me and mold me into a new man, that's one of the things he has killed completely is the way the business is being successful is we are super transparent about it, because I think you have to be. And this is also the vehicle that the Lord is using for that. So that is the story in a nutshell.
Wow. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that's crazy. And to hear that, and then hear you say in the beginning of this show on the other segment, not the one where I was leading.
Yeah.
Hats are off when I'm leading this deal. Like, what in the world? Like, it's become a circus. To say that like you now are in a place where you're giving, you know, where you're generous to people and things like that, is really, really special to hear. Which I knew that about you anyway, but it's like knowing, you know, how different that is from being dishonest about, you know, where you were when you were there, to now being in a place to where, hey, I can be really honest about the fact that I give a lot and I don't necessarily expect it in return, and God takes care of you, and it's really a beautiful thing.
I appreciate it. I got to put this in there. I had no integrity to the point where I still love Jesus, but I was writing hot checks as my tithe, not for Jesus, but for people to see that I was giving.
Right.
That doesn't make sense unless you have
thing.
ever been there, right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
But yeah, that's the Lord, and how he just really I had to die, right, so that I could live in him. And so, yeah, that's it, man. So
thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you for being a guest, host.
Yeah, of course.
Man, yeah, you did great. All right, GP fam, thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight. Do yourself a favor, like, share, comment, and then, you know what? Better that one by going and following my boy Jay Talley at
J.A. Talley, Talley,
on all socials.
Yeah.
And of course, do us a favor again and go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hey, thank y'all so much. We'll see y'all next Thursday. Later.